Hello guys and welcome back to another video. My name is Pips, co-founder of PropsMadness and a professional sports bettor. We have a 6-game slate tonight, so I'll be sharing 2 official bets, so stay tuned. But before we dive into the research, we need to recap the last show picks. And guys, we cooked. We hit 5 bets and lost only 1. Hit on Westbrook threes, Ryan over points, Trey Johnson over points, OG Anunoby over points, and Karl Anthony Towns over threes. We made huge profits. We also had a ladder on Russell Westbrook threes where we bet over 1.5 threes at plus money, but we also laddered to 3 plus threes, and that was plus 370 on FanDuel. So great night, even better for my private betting. So I'll be giving out $100 to one random person that subscribes and comments below this video. And now let's jump into the PropsMadness, the best researching tool for props, and start with the daily research. First bet of the show will be Deandre Ayton over 13.5 points, minus 110, both BetMGM Hard Rock. Novi has minus 123, but we'll get this at minus 129 because we are tracking against wild available lines and sharp books. So minus 130 FanDuel, minus 129 Caesars. This one is very interesting matchup-wise. Looking at DeAndre Ayton, when he gets at least 20 minutes in games this season, he's averaging 14.5 points on 30 minutes on average, but he now gets the best matchup in the league. And there is a big team with DeAndre Ayton and the matchup. He's getting Kings, team that's dead last in defense against his position, team that's dead last in points allowed in the paint, and also team that's allowing 5th most to pick and roll man. The most dominant play type, the way he scores for DeAndre Ayton. Looking at similar players, also we can see that they average 39% more points against closing lines. And also looking at similar players by position, we can see that they also cooked 10 out of 15, 12% more. Şengün last night missed 4 free throws to cover. Gafford with 10, Miles Turner 15, Mark Williams 15, very similar player to Nimas Quetta with 13. So yeah, we can see that Jalen Duren 23, Klingon 14 and 19. So yeah, centers are having great success against the Kings. And looking at all the data, it looks like a perfect matchup. And let's now just check how it works with PropsMadness. And the first filter we are going to use for this one is defense against position. And let's just look at the favorable bottom 10 on in the league against his position. And we get this. He covered this line in 11 out of 12 games against bottom of the defensive teams against his position, averaging big 18.4 points a game. And looking at the head-to-head matchups, he played Kings twice this season. First game this season, he had 22 points. Second game, he had 11. That was a huge blowout. And he also missed a couple of stinkers. I rewatched that game, but they should be much more aggressive against Luka this time, which could open a ton of spots for DeAndre Ayton. So first bet is DeAndre Ayton over 13.5 points, minus 129. But shop around, you can find much better prices. Minus 125 Bet Rivers, but as I said, Hard Rock and BetMGM minus 110. Second bet of the show will be a same game parlay. I'm going to FanDuel to show you this one. It's Sam Merrill 3 plus threes and Darius Garland 6 plus assists. We are getting minus 111 on FanDuel for this one. So Sam Merrill 3 plus threes and Darius Garland 6 plus assists against the Utah Jazz. And let's now go back to the PropsMadness. First of all, let's start with Darius Garland. Looking at his assist this season in the games when he gets 25 plus or a minute. On the line, 5.5. He covered this in 19 out of 22 games, averaging hitting 86%, averaging 7.4 assists. But now gets the best matchup in the league. As we can see, Jazz allow the most assists in the league and the most to his position. They are also the worst defense overall. Also, let's look at last 10 games, maybe even like 14 games. He covered 14 straight games, averaging 7.7 assists in that period, and now gets the best matchup. So that's the part on Darius Garland. Let's now look at Sam Merrill threes. Looking at first expected minutes, In expected minutes, he covered this line in 14 out of 19 games. But also looking at this, we can see that he has the best matchup playing against the team that allowed the most catch and shoot threes per game. They allow second most spot up, they allow fourth most transition threes, and they allow the most above the break threes. So perfect matchup. And they are also ranked as the worst against his position. And looking at this, we can see that when he's playing teams who are not who are bottom 10 against his position, he covered this in 4 out of 5. If you look at when he's playing teams below average, he's over in 10 out of 11. And yeah, it just gets better and better when we look like when we exclude top 10 teams in threes defense, he's covering 12 out of 13 game, 90% win rate, 4.4 threes average. So yeah, looking great. So guys, that's it for today. Tough slate, I will say. I liked this one, but it moved on me. Miles Bridges under 19.5 points. Can't give this out when it's available on the one sportsbook. Also liked under 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists. If you have that, that's a good bet. The reason why is because when he plays expected minutes with LaMelo Ball and Diabate and Kalkbrenner, we can see that he's averaging 26.3 points, rebounds, and assists per game, and now gets a rough matchup. He had only 24 against Clippers earlier this season. If you take a look at against his position, they are third best against his position. And yeah, looking at last 10, we can see that it drops to 23.9 in some of these games that he covered. No Miller in this one, no Miller in this one as well. So overall, rough matchup for Miles Bridges. So if you have available under 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists, I will definitely bet that, but can't give it as official bet on the show as it's not widely available. Some other bets that could be interesting, definitely Anthony Simons with possibility of Jaylen Brown being out. In that case, his usage goes up a ton. We can see that he's averaging 14 field goal attempts without Jaylen Brown. Also, when Derek White was out, he also had 14 field goal attempts. So even either of those two guys, best scorers on the team, were out, he averaged 14 field goal attempts. Looking at the games when he has 13 to 15 field goal attempts, he covered this in 50% of the games, which is looking not great. But when you look at the entire career, we can see that he is covering this in still 50%, which is interesting. But average 16.4 points. If he widen the range from, let's say, like 12 to 18, then it goes up to 60%. So yeah, if he gets increase in minutes, he could play more minutes without Jaylen Brown because they will need offensive production. Then maybe he gets like 30 minutes a game, and in those minutes he should definitely cook in this matchup. This one is a bit rough as we don't know who is going to play. Both and Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes questionable. On the other side, we have Embiid questionable, so I can't touch this game. Mavs and Nets, I was interested in Najee Marshall over on 15.5 points, but then again, looking at the matchup, last 15 for Brooklyn Nets, they are 7th best defense, best against pull-up, best against catch and shoot. Yeah, horrible pace, not allowing any threes. So a rough matchup. They've been great lately, so can't bet this one. Not enough for me, especially if the pace is slow. Moving down to the Lakers, kind of liked Russell Westbrook over 6.5 assists. When we look at the games when he played expected minutes, let's say 28 to 38, we can see that he's averaging this season averaging 8 assists. Now that we have Schroeder is out, in games without Schroeder he's averaging 9. In games with Zach LaVine, he's also still averaging 8. Doesn't change much. So yeah, Lakers allow 8 most assists if you take a look at the last 15. And on the season, 8 most still. So yeah, but this concerns me. Lately, guards haven't been covering against the Lakers. So also he played the Lakers a bit earlier this season and had 6 and 4, so didn't cover in either game. against the Lakers. So that's rough part, but also very juice. So I don't like it at this number. So if it was like minus 120, I would definitely consider betting this. And that's it. Not the greatest slate today. I had a ton of bets last night. Ended up sharing 6 bets on the show. Today we have only 2, which is Deandre Ayton over 13.5 points and semi-game parlay and FanDuel. Darius Garland 6+ assists and Merrill 3+ threes. That's it, guys. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and we'll be back tomorrow, probably, hopefully, with a better slate and more bets. See you guys.